Hear ye, hear ye. Oh, wait, wrong show again. But the boys are back. We are live. We are here to go over the Olympics, what everyone's been waiting for. Team USA, Team Canada, Sweden, Finland, Denmark, Latvia. We're going to talk about players on the freaking third line for France, for heaven's sakes. That's what you get with us. So let's do that intro. Let's get into it, and let's talk about hockey in the best on best format. You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, this is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong. And welcome back. How you doing, Matt?
This is great. I love not having to come up with things to say. I mean, I know whenever I do it, I sound like a total moron, but I mean, you really took the cake there. So thank you for doing that. I mean, how am I doing? The Super Bowl happened. It was horrendous. It was
a full recap.
It was quite literally the worst experience of my life. Everything that I thought would happen pretty much happened, and I went 0 for 9 on my bets, all boosted, all straight bets, all about coin flips. Seattle killed them. New England couldn't keep up, but garbage time comes for us all. JSN getting hurt meant Shaheed got targets. Like everything that I bet lost. So I'm just a very salty boy. My NBA player I bet tonight got tossed for fighting. Used the 30% boost on DK. Just beginning of the second. He wasn't even on the court, by the way. He runs onto the court to punch someone in the face. I mean, respect. Totally respect it. But This is how I lose. So yes, I'm very much looking forward to talking about some of the most irrelevant hockey players on the fucking planet to maybe turn my season around.
Great.
But yeah, it's been a shit ton of work. I got to say that. So we're going to share my normal Excel sheet. Every player on every team is in there. I don't have data for all of these players. In fact, a lot of them I don't have data for. That means they play in literal third tier leagues around the world. So that's tough. But I tried my damnedest. My shitty coding skills, put them to work. Got all sorts of data for this year. I have access to 2019, back to 2019 through that old site. I think it was pick 227 or 224 or some number.
Yep.
And whatever they had at the point where it shut down, I still have that. So I have a lot of these guys that are random. It's fairly interesting. I'm just really excited to see what we find, what we dig up, and ultimately, where we land on the big four, maybe the big five, if you want to call it that, with Czechia, I think, earning that respect. But there's a lot to cover.
A lot to cover. I mean, we're not, I've been covering some of the women's Olympic betting. I will probably have a few more. Seems like there's some edges out there to be had. I will once again be going back to the well. So if you want to follow along with any of that, I mean, it's a different game. It's fun. I enjoy watching it. I have no, it's not played exactly the same, and it's still very enjoyable. So if you want to give it a watch or just bet along and enjoy, tomorrow, we're recording on Monday night, Monday, the 9th of February, the 10th USA Canada at, I believe it's 2:10 our time, maybe 1 or 2.
That's right.
Something like that.
2:10.
2:10. I was right. But it's been fun. I mean, really fun to follow along. Those two teams absolutely dominating. Matt putting something under his name to piss off Bates. He's called it a scumbag name because Matt has up the player who injured Marie-Philippe Poulin. I mean,
she's fine.
She's fine. It is like, it's one of those things where they talked about it like, yeah, they're kind of allowing checking now. And I mean, they hit. I mean, they do get called for it sometimes, but they definitely hit pretty hard. But it's been fun. I mean, I was really enjoying watching Germany and France earlier today. I was kind of had it on the background and watching them I don't know. I've been enjoying it. So yeah.
Wait, was that the one game you had of a player who didn't win their bet?
Yeah.
In that parlay?
Yeah, that's right.
That's so sick. I can't believe you said that. I cannot believe you actually let your joy of the sport overtake your tilt of, not
I mean,
losing, because you always
I
win,
couldn't
but
even really tilt because
not
it was
winning
just like,
thousands
yeah,
on it.
Germany was just dominant. Yeah, I mean, well, when it's the second bet that doesn't hit for the parlay going nuclear, you kind of just forget about it. Like more, I don't know.
Yeah.
She played a million minutes. She looked good, the girl I bet, but you don't always win. And one defenseman that scored the game winner was the other one I had circled, but I just couldn't like bring myself to bet like a plus 280 defenseman. They're not Darren Radish as Max is talking about here. If Darren Radish was that defenseman, I mean, that would have
Bald
been an
eagle
absolute.
behind you.
Yeah, I pointed. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But no, I mean, this is like it's been fun. I'm enjoying it. There's more games tomorrow. There's betting. We're not going to cover any more of the women's stuff unless if there's one more thing you want to say.
No, she literally walked back to the bench. She's playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. They're not going to play her when it's 4-0, and you've got Headhunter McGee out there, running through everyone. Right after that, she did the exact same thing to Sarah Fillier, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Also, she was like the number one pick in the PWHL, and she crushed it in college and whatnot. So just the exact sort of moods, dude.
Yeah.
Dudette, I guess, if you want to call it that. Yeah, she was hurt. Yeah, but she'll be fine. Like, that's what I'm saying. Yes, she knew something wasn't right and she left, but she doesn't come back to the bench if she's like done for the season. Like, I don't know. Like, what do you want to do?
So the women's games are moving to the final games of their prelim rounds, and the men's games kick off on Thursday. We're recording on Monday. We will have daily fantasy. Wait, no, the prelims start on Wednesday for the hockey. My bad. And there is a DFS slate. It's over half full before we started recording. It will fill. I have to imagine. It seems like there's definitely an appetite out there. I'm going to be max entering. I've built a couple lineups, just kind of teetering around. But yeah, we are. We're over half full. But yeah, about 200 spots left. 14 max entry, 2K to first. So good something to get you started. It's going to be Slovakia and Finland, Sweden and Italy, two massive favorites. We're going to cover every single team, so you'll see why they're bigger favorites than maybe you think. But of course, Sweden, massive 5-goal favorites against Italy. Where do we want to kick things off? I actually don't know what order you wanted to bring us into. Are you ready to get into the team by team and some of the betting stuff?
Yeah, I grabbed the 4 teams and put them aside for the DFS slate. I figure we can start there. I don't know. I'm not sure if we want to do like the overall team stuff or just the DFS slate and then just sort of dig into the other teams team by team without the salaries or whatnot to discuss. I didn't really have a plan, believe it or not. I was working for the final minute.
I kind of feel like I looked up a million things and never really thought about a plan. Why don't we just go whatever team by team order you put the teams in on the sheet? We'll go through all the teams first, and then
we'll start with the real banger. The people are tuning in for the absolute masterpiece that is this Italy hockey roster.
Yes, here we go.
All right, we have. By the way, if you're listening to this on the podcast feed, I gotta tell you, you gotta get over to YouTube for this one. Half these players you're not gonna have ever heard of. We'll try and talk without we're not just reading numbers off of a screen, but I'll just be reading numbers off of a screen. Also useful is Elite Prospects, which I did not incorporate anything from them into my sheet here. So if you want to get a sense of certain players, you can look them up on eliteprospects.com. That is, I think, the best spot to go just because they have every league. You're not going to get information that I care about, like shots primarily from them, but you'll get points, you'll get goals, and you'll get games played, which is, certainly important to figure out what types of players these people are. And they have nice little Olympic things next to the players that are in the Olympics. So if you search for someone, you can sort of be guided by that without needing to spell their name perfectly correctly, as I have had to on this sheet of mine that is not necessarily very user friendly. So in any case, Team Italy, clearly massive underdogs. What I also wanted to mention was the rules format of the tournament. Goals differential remains the top tiebreaker, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Though for the women's, they said that for sure. It's got to be the same for the men's.
Yeah, I'm assuming. Well, they
It
do
was
something.
goal
So, like in
differential.
the women's
Yeah.
game, they put like the 5 best teams in the same group, and then they all advance, and then the other group's basically playing to send, I think, 3 of them through. So they
Yeah.
do have slightly different formats. So I don't know. That was interesting, but I did just want to mention that because this basically incentivizes teams to tee off on each other, especially the the lesser teams. Um, so let me. I don't know if you're looking this up or not.
Sorry, the chat is just on fire already.
Oh, boy.
I will not. I mean, this is gonna be. I had to do something fun. Honestly, one of the worst UFA jerseys was the world. I mean, I don't know. It's not the worst one though. They definitely the Olympics. I think it was the 2 Olympics ago. Those
how bad the team was at the World Cup. Just I mean, those jerseys are.
Yeah, that's why.
I mean, burn
it's
it. Yeah.
I got this for like $40. I'm pretty sure. Just like a no namer. But anyways, no. I mean, it's I was looking up. So it is Italy, Sweden, Italy, Slovakia, and then Finland, Italy. Those are the 3 games. That's the grouping, I guess, to put it all into perspective. Just kind of looking up, like, they're to win a singular game is plus 630. They are massive underdogs. The only player that has pedigree on this team outside of, I'm not going to say the only player. There's a couple guys I think that like at least have something to their name, but Damian Clara is the only guy that could potentially steal something for this team. Like, I think from like a very large, like zoomed out perspective, he is a guy that's performed really, really well and is incredibly young. 2nd round pick for the Anaheim Ducks. That's the guy that, like, if Italy somehow wins a game, which is very unlikely, would be the catalyst for success. I'm not saying to go out of your way and find anything to bet on this Italy team. I can't imagine there's. I struggle to find a bettable object for Italy other than like things that are massive, unlikely to happen situations.
Yeah.
Like I'm mentioning, like this is one of the, like, them to win a singular game in this entire tournament is plus 630. Like, very unlikely. So if you could find a market for the top goal scorer, do you ever see one, Matt? I never did.
Yeah, no, we don't know lines. These are literally, I'm pretty sure, just alphabetical order. So like the extras don't mean anything. Obviously, we know more about the better teams, so we'll get to them. But I did just want to mention a few things. One, I do not believe they took anyone based on quote unquote heritage. They were very adamant that the players that they took be true Italians versus like when South Korea, I think in Pyeongchang, they just were like, hey, if you have a descendant, like come try out, basically. So I'm pretty sure that's the case. Matthew Bradley rung a bell, but I couldn't find anything about him. So I'm
Alex Patan also.
No, that's not. Yeah, Nick
not
Patan,
the same one?
but not.
Okay.
Not related.
Yeah,
I looked
he played in
for a little bit.
He played in the AHL. He played. I mean, this guy too. Maybe I thought like there was something to the name, but definitely, yeah, could be better, I suppose. But yeah, Matt Bradley just doesn't sound to me like he was born and raised in Italy, but it is what it is. Not do they have a singular game of NHL experience on this team? I know they have some AHL experience, but I was thinking, do they? I don't think they have a single NHL game. Like Clara is the guy, like I said, that will potentially get a look in the NHL. He's playing in the SHL as a 20-year-old, 21-year-old now goalie, very newly 21-year-old. That is like the only player with legitimate pedigree on this team.
And he was the one who was a draft pick, right? That's
2nd round pick, highest draft pick ever out of Italy.
From who? From
the Ducks.
Like LA?
The Ducks, yeah.
Okay.
The Ducks 60th overall in 2023.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you about this Tommy Perdeller or Dustin Gasly, but obviously after game 1, keep an eye out. Like if they're on the top power play or top line or something. This Perdeller character played in the OHL a couple years ago, so he's fairly young. And then Daniel Mantenuto actually was a positive production NCAA player in 2020. And then Tommaso DeLuca is an above average rate shooter in the National League, the Swiss League, the Swiss top tier league specifically, and he is 21. So that's another player who, in theory, could be like a guy they lean on. But other than that, I don't know anything about these guys. One of these guys could be the best player in God knows what, the German second league or whatever. Like, I just don't know. So keep that in mind. We don't know a ton about these guys, but I like the goalie you mentioned. It's a 2-game DFS slate, so strategy wise, pretty much just throw it out the window. If he sees 48 shots, doesn't matter if he gets scored on 6-7 times. He's going to score very well. Especially when you consider that Sweden and Finland's goalies are very unlikely to see enough shot volume to, come anywhere close to the 20-25 point range. If you get 12 from your goalie at 7K, you're probably fine. I want to get over to Sweden, though, because obviously this is where things start to get more interesting. Thank you. Yes, 6-7. I realized I did that the second that it came out of my mouth. For Sweden, we have lines technically. We have power play units. I'm not positive on the power play units. The top unit seems entrenched, but Elias Lindholm on it feels strange. So, it is what it is. And the second unit, they ran variations of it with Raquel and Brat mixing in. So, like, it's kind of shitty that we get started without much clarity here. But looking at the Sweden roster, is there anything that stands out to you?
I mean, I feel like you got the power plays wrong. Wasn't it Dahlin and Carlson swapped? Am I losing my mind? I thought it was Dahlin, Eriksson, Nylander, Raymond, and I don't remember it being Elias Lindholm, but
I'm almost positive it was Elias Lindholm. Let me
double check that. I remember
Dahlin
was definitely on the nominal first unit, which was with Nylander and Eriksson. I know that. So that was going to be the first thing that kind of surprised me was that it was Dahlin.
I think that's correct. Good catch.
Yeah. Okay. Not the end of the world, but just for the main thing that I was surprised about was that Dahlin in the Four Nations faceoff, it kind of felt like he was, I'd say, more or less the odd man out when it came to the offensive production from the back end. Like, it felt like going into it, he had a huge role, but they were just using players like Hedman and Erik Karlsson quite a bit more. Now with Hedman coming off of injuries and stuff of that nature, it seems like there was maybe some room for someone to step in, but Erik Karlsson as well taking a step back. Dahlin has really emerged into that top role. I feel like he is just, clearly the alpha in that defensive unit. There are some bets I'm considering with him for points and stuff like that. From a DFS perspective as well, like, I love him and Lucas Raymond. I think that's a really strong combo. I still would maybe include Philippe Forsberg. Like, he could certainly step in over anybody. But yeah, I think that Raymond is really interesting to me. And like, I think Raymond and Dahlin are kind of the two guys I really want to focus on.
Okay.
What do you think?
Yeah, so you did confirm with Adam J. Johansson on Twitter, right? That the power play units is what you, because I think they ran different stuff yesterday. Maybe I estimated it based on yesterday, and then today they ran stuff. So I'm looking at that, and Dahlin, Nylander, Lindholm, Raymond, Eriksson was confirmed. Yes, Elias Lindholm just is going to be a thorn in our sides, I'm guessing, on Wednesday. So the fact that he's playing with Raymond and Forsberg is quite interesting to me. We're talking about salaries, like, everyone's free. Like, you don't really need to make many sacrifices here. So you can just play, the best plays, basically. It's 18K for Kempe, Eriksson, Nylander. It's 17K for Forsberg, Lindholm, Raymond. It's 18.7 for Pettersson, Zibanejad, Raquel. And the fourth line with Pontus Holmberg on it is 12.2K. By the way, in the Olympics, you play 13 forwards, 7 defensemen. So one of Marcus Johansson or Alex Wenberg will play. One of Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Hampus Lindholm will play. That makes these down the lineup guys even more risky, because it means that, like, a guy like Pontus Holmberg could be there just for PK purposes or something of the sort. I don't know anything like that offhand here, but Just something to keep in mind is that minutes in general will be pretty depressed across these teams as a result, especially in these, walkover games, because you don't need to stress these players. So I think the correlation is even stronger, because it's unlikely that we get, a Nathan McKinnon-esque 28 minutes or something from any of these guys. Like, it's going to be 16, 17 minutes across the board for these forwards if I had to put my money on it. So, at maximum. And some of the guys will be lesser than that. Holmberg, Landeskog, there will probably be 11 minutes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Players wise, I did just want to mention that when you look at their seasons to date, like the entirety of Sweden's roster has pretty much underperformed their season long their like career production. I don't know what to make of that. I mean, you look at the individual cases and it's like, oh, like this guy's been hurt. Oh, this guy's actively been bad. Oh, this guy's team sucks. But like, it's kind of concerning. Like, just entire swaths of these guys are just underperforming. There's one player who's overperforming his career baseline set from the 3 years before this season, and that is Rasmus Anderson. And then Zibanejad and Raquel, actually. So actually, this third line, nope, I was backwards. Yeah, this third line is all underwater. Literally, it's just all bad, pretty much, for all of these guys. And so that's like a pretty big concern of mine in general with the Sweden team, is that they're all going to need to collectively sort of up their games to where they were 2 years ago. And I don't want to be making that bet when we look at these other teams that they need to be competing with. So it doesn't matter for the Italy game. Like, they're by far the best plays with Finland. You don't really need to overthink it. But as like a general sort of prognostication for Sweden, I am fairly concerned about them. And that's coming from me, who was very high on them at the Four Nations face-off and got, punched in the throat by them repeatedly. So,
yeah, I think that's a really, really good overview of this team. I think that I mean, I get being high on them. They're one of the few teams that have all NHL players on their roster, but I think they're susceptible to an upset that could keep them out of the medal rounds. I'll go over a couple bets that I sort of cued in on, looking across a few different sports books, finding a couple variations off of different plays. One that stood out on DraftKings, if you're more of a DraftKings person, Joel Eriksson is 12-1 to lead them in goal scoring, where he is plus 950 and 900 across other books. Not that that's anything insanity, but he is on the top power play and certainly can be annoying in front of the net. And if the team does underperform, and that's probably going to come at the cost of Forsberg, Nylander, Kempe not really being the producers that you'd need. Two others, I already mentioned Raymond. He's pretty much 900 across the board for top goal scorer, and plus 950 is the best I found. And the third one that was kind of long odds as well, and just more of like a, plus 800 on DraftKings, plus I think 850 on Score, and then 11-1 on FanDuel with Mika Zibanejad. I know it's a second power play, but I don't know how strict they'll be on that. And he certainly is a goal scorer, I think, up there with the likes of others. Like, you're going to tell me Mika Zibanejad and William Nylander this year, like, who is more likely to score a massive amount of goals? Like, yeah, I lean Nylander, but I like 4-1 to 11-1. I don't buy that. Those are kind of three guys I like a lot. And then, like I mentioned, I think for points, I'm just betting Dahlin and just saying that, like, he is at longer odds. I'm actually trying to find it again. I'll go to a different app. But I think at longer odds, I really like a guy like Dahlin, who's just going to be incredibly integral to the entire team. I'm not going to shop all the books right now, but just looking at DraftKings, he is 9-1. I'm sure that's better elsewhere. Any thoughts on that?
No, that's fine. Let's see. I'm looking at these like player to record X number of points markets, and
he is 4.5 on FanDuel. Over is minus 128. So 5 points over the course of, I believe that includes it's not just prelims, it's the entirety. So just assuming.
William Nylander is 6.5 minus 110. Dahlin is 4.5 minus 130. Those are the only ones that DK offers for Sweden. My general my general stance is what I said about like this team just being underperforming this season. We know these players, so it's not like they're bad or whatever, but maybe slightly overinflating our expectations for them based on how good these guys have been, 2-3 years ago. Nylander's shot rate is down infinitely, and
Yeah.
he's only getting by from point production. So him being like by far their best fantasy player heading into this tournament is a major concern of mine. Like Mika Zibanejad is second. So yeah, if you're looking for someone down the board, like Zibanejad would be the guy. That's based on the last 25 games, by the way. Just to try and capture a slightly larger look into how these players are playing without saying, oh, well, they were good in October, so they're going to be good now. Based on Bulgarian, we know that that's not going to be the case in this Olympics. So just trying to get a pulse read. Zibanejad would be the guy that if I had to pick a forward, he would be the guy I hitch my wagon to. But I liked your point about Eriksson Ek, and I think Elias Lindholm fits that bill as well as a longer odds guy. It depends on how they want to do defensive shutdown stuff. I'm skeptical that it's going to be either of Eriksson Ek or Lindholm out with the empty net. It probably should be, but this Landeskog Holmberg pairing just seems like it was designed in a lab to steal empty net goals from us later on in the tournament. So, anything else on Sweden?
Yep, Dahlin is 15-1 top point producer on the score instead of 9-1 on DraftKings. So I'm gonna grab that right now. I'm going to eventually log in and probably bet the others.
Yeah.
So Eriksson Ek, I think I'm gonna do Eriksson Ek and Raymond or Zibanejad. Put it in the chat. I'll decide. I'm gonna bet those though. I also I don't know. I think that's probably good enough. I think that the hardest part is finding a bet to fade Sweden feels very difficult because you can't like bet them not to win a medal I haven't seen. But if you found that, I would be fine with it. I don't know if there's any other ways to fade them that you like other than just like not giga slamming them in DFS.
Yeah, you can bet stage of elimination. So like them to go out in the quarters is plus 350.
Yeah.
Them to go out in the semis is the favorite at minus 115. So if
or just like betting Finland to win Group B at like plus 150, 160, 170. Like Italy isn't going to be in the mix. Slovakia is pretty bad. Like I think you could probably go that route instead of betting because like really if you're betting Finland to beat Sweden, is it like, I don't know what those odds are going to be exactly right now, but I bet they won't be plus 150 whatever. So like you're probably getting a decent look. Actually, I mean that might be posted. I don't know. Just thinking of different ways of going about it. All right. I see as Zibanejad. I'm gonna lock in Eriksson Ek and Zibanejad.
All right. And if you want to bet against Hedman and Anderson as a pair, I honestly think Rasmus Anderson's a good DFS option where it's like he could get 3 blocks. He will shoot when he gets the opportunity, and he can donk his way into some points. So if you think that they get caved in, like I don't necessarily disagree with that. I think Anderson will eat some pucks, and he's been the one guy who's outperformed his baseline this season, and that's via shot rate, by point rate, and that's mostly playing for a decrepit Calgary team that can't score. So he was a very, very, very good fantasy option. I mean, we all know this, but I would bet on him if you're looking to sort of do that, weird fade sort of angle. All right, let's get over to Finland because likewise, they are massive favorites against Slovakia. Unlike the Sweden game, it's a 6.5 total with the over favored. This game is a 5.5 total with the under favored, so not quite as much offensive explosion projected by the books, though that could just be based on Finland's track record. They come to these tournaments and they batten on the hatches and they play solid defensively, and so we go. They have a lineup with Granlund, Hintz, Rantanen, Lehkonen, Aho, Teravainen, Luostarinen, Lindell, Kapokako, Tolvanen, Haula, Armia, with Kiviranta and Kapanen as projected extras here. Kapanen probably suits up, but TBD. Defensively, Miro Heiskanen's back. So if you're looking at anything from last tournament, last year's Four Nations, that's the big difference. Miro missed that last year. So Heiskanen, Lindell, Mikkola, Ristolainen, Olli Mata, and Henri Jokiharju are their defensemen, with Mikko Lehtinen and Nicholas Mantanpalo as extras. I would expect Mantanpalo to dress, though Lehtinen I believe is a dude that the Finnish country loves. I think he plays in all their national events and whatnot, but he's playing in the national this year and is 31, the Swiss National League. So,
Yeah.
and yes, Barkov not being there, obviously a huge bummer for Finland. DJ, any takes on Finland to get us started?
I mean, I kind of almost like it's not that I like them more than Sweden by any stretch, but I think I like them a lot more in DFS because they're so concentrated on like a very singular like options, right? Like Granlund, Hintz, Rantanen, Miro, like that just fits so neatly. The second line, Teravainen is 3K on the opening slate. Like I don't know how much ownership he's going to get. He hasn't been fantastic, but we know what he can do, and he's with Lehkonen and Aho at 5-on-5. And as you kind of mentioned, it sort of is batten down the hatches down the rest of the lineup. I mean, I'm a big Tolvanen guy as well. I'd like to see what he can do, but without a power play role and playing with Haula and Armia, I think he's just going to be used more as a checker, which he certainly can do as well.
Was this my projection, or did we get these? I think this might have been the team I had.
Got power plays, and I definitely
Did
retweeted them. So
okay,
you want to
let me make
peek?
sure.
You take a quick peek while I continue to yammer on. I guess the point is that like the offense is going to be through the top six, and the bottom six is going to play defense. And then like I feel like the way Sweden, or not Sweden, Jesus Christ, the way Finland tries to get there is very obvious comparatively to Sweden, which feels, I think like maybe we didn't say overtly, but like I feel like it could get very, like if things aren't going well, they're going to be changing things up quickly. There's just not as much room to change things up. I think Finland will be, they are a huge favorite against Slovakia on the opening slate. I think they should be, well above them. And that opening slate, like I think that building kind of Finland super stacks and hoping that Clara can at least keep Sweden from destroying you is like a good option. The harder part here is finding longer odds on for betting purposes on this team, because there just isn't. I just can't really see too many scenarios where players well down the lineup can produce anywhere near at the same rate as like these top lines.
All right, I did find them. I don't think you retweeted it, but maybe I missed it. But Armia, Lehkonen, Teravainen, Tolvanen, and Lehtinen is the PP2. So there we go. There's Lehtinen drawing in. So Risto, Lindell do not play power play. Lehkonen, Teravainen, Tolvanen. Okay, so pretty close. Not spot on. Top unit was right. So that's obviously going to get them the majority of the market share. Hintz, Rantanen, Heiskanen. They know how to run a pretty sick power play. Aho and Wyatt and Granlund and J-Rob, maybe a bit of a step down, but hey, not bad to bring three pieces of an elite power play to the Olympics. So shout out to Finland for that. That's a pretty natural stacking trio as well. Not gonna be surprised if Hintz, Rantanen, and Miro sort of are just glued together for 24 minutes a night kind of deal. We could see the fourth and third line work their way into 15 minutes. We'll see, especially early on in games like this. But in general, this Lehtinen guy, 2,500, I do think he has some chops. He's above average rates wise in the National League, which again is steps below even the SHL, so doesn't mean a whole lot. But 2,500 punt defenseman with a power play role, not too shabby. Interesting though that Lindell isn't on any power play unit. That's a guy who I would think they would try to sort of replicate the Barkov experience with, and maybe he's just going straight up defensive shutdown stuff. So, this Lehkonen, Aho, Teravainen line is rather cheap. 15.7K compared to a 21K top line. Granlund, Hintz, Rantanen. So I would be reticent to onslaught Finland myself on this 2-game slate, but I think if so, I would rather go down to the bottom 6 than try to mix in both of these top 2 lines and use all my salary that way. Like I'd rather get cheaper Finland guys and spend up for a couple of Sweden studs than just like full on punt, with either Italy or Slovakia, or punt Sweden guys instead to fit in a bunch of high price Finnish players. So just my initial thoughts looking at it. Anything else from you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of going around. I honestly, I mean, I see someone saying like the Granlund is Finland's top point scorer. I I just can't see the scenario where he is more involved on that line than Mikko Rantanen or Rube Hintz. I think like Hintz goal scorer is something I considered, but at the end of the day, I think I've just taken the back seat. The only thing that I would actually consider is like Miro top point producer, assuming that I just feel like again at the end of the day, like if he is getting there in that magnitude, Rantanen is probably just going to beat him. Like I don't know. It's really hard for me to find anything outside of Rantanen or Aho that I think is like super strong. I think I'm just sitting Finland out. I just can't fall in love with anything here, and maybe it's just my aversion to betting plus 250 guys to lead a team in points that are very likely to do so, but I just couldn't find anything here that I really could sink my teeth into from a longer or really just a tournament odds perspective. Is there anything you saw or are interested in, or a player you want to mention, or is it just meh?
Um, yeah, I think Hints to lead them in goals is interesting. 5-1. Rantanen's 225. Aho 5-1. Granlund 8-1.
It's
Um,
better on, I believe it is at least. I'm going to double check. I believe it's best on FanDuel from what I found.
well, then
Top
I
goal
hate it.
scorer Finland is nope. It's also five. It's 5-1 on every single book,
Great.
and I don't.
Um,
Yeah, I don't mind that at all.
And that's primarily because Rantanen has taken a bit of a backseat in Dallas to J Rob on the power play. Obviously, Hintz and J Rob play together, and Rantanen plays more with Wyatt. So, it is what it is. But I do think that Hintz with the breakaway stuff, like, I just very well picture him getting a bunch of breakaways.
Yep.
So the fact that he's, on the power play as well, like, I think that's a more than 2-1 odds basically that he outscores Mikko Rantanen as direct line mates feels pretty good to me given Rantanen's playmaking chops.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I
All right.
think that's the guy, and I think I'm just a long term Granlund fader. It's probably just sneaking in. He's
Especially
played
at
really, yeah,
6,200, like on the slate, it's ridiculous.
he's played really well lately. Like I feel like we kind of were talking shit about players in Sweden not playing well, but like he's been great. I'm not doing it. I just, it's an aversion. I think eventually we could see another player step into that role and him take over the third. That I don't know. I guess I'm not gonna overthink it. I'm just not. Granlund led Finland in 4 nation points. Well, if he does it again, then I'm stupid again.
Yeah,
I
12 to
definitely didn't
1.
bet it
Go make your
10%.
money.
Yeah, it's not. I'm not saying it's wrong. I mean, the role is there. I'm an idiot, and I'm not doing it. So there's all there is to it. Game one, again, they will be playing in, so it'll be fun to watch. We'll see pretty quickly how things look.
No, I did not. I did not take into account the order of the games on Wednesday
Well,
morning.
so far, you've gotten 3 teams that all play on Wednesday, so going well.
I do know that these are the 4 teams playing. So, here is Slovakia's roster.
Yep.
Hey, yeah, it's I don't know. Like I think I mean it might just be Marian Hossa, but I sit there and I think, oh wow, Slovakia, they're gonna be good. And then it's like, oh wait, actually,
Yeah.
not so much.
No.
So they have Slavkovsky. So that's that. Adam Ruzicka, Tomas
He's an NHL
Tatar,
player. NHL
old
player,
friend.
kinda.
Adam
Yeah,
Liska, KHL dude, apparently. Dvorsky, we know him from St. Louis. Libor Hudacek, that's the aforementioned guy I was doing some elite prospects research on prior to the show, manning their second line and top power play. Milos Kelemen, that name stood out to me. I didn't look into what team he plays for, but he did play in the AHL last year, so good for that. Martin Pospisil, Pavel Regenda, 2 guys in and out of NHL lineups this season. And then Samuel Tekic. I'm not a native Slovak. Matasukel and Oliver Okuliar. So those are their forwards with Peter Chalarik and Lucas Shingle in reserve. Chalarik, I think played in the AHL or NHL last year, at least for a spell. Maybe I'm thinking of preseason stuff, but that name rung a bell. He's been fairly good in the SHL, but yeah, not a ton forwards wise. Defensively, Martin Feravari, Simone Nemec, their top pair. Nemec on the top power play. Martin Gernat playing with Eric Chernak. So if Charles Edward Destu wasn't good enough for Chernak, here is Gernat to really test Chernak's powers. And then Martin Marincin and Peter Sereznak. Marincin, I thought, played in the NHL, but maybe that was forever ago. So I'll look into that while you're talking. But any initial takeaways from the Slovakia roster?
Yeah, it's tough sledding. It's obviously very cheap in a daily fantasy, and there's not a lot to bet, so don't need to spend a ton of time there because there just isn't many things to bet on. I mean, Ruzicka is a guy that's shown a propensity to shoot in the NHL at very short stints. Has never really been able to stick in Calgary. I feel like he's not even on the team right now, and that is like one of the worst teams in the league. Slavkovsky can't carry the entire top line. Dvorsky has not shown, the ability to be an elite NHL player, but certainly has an elite NHL shot. I think what it really comes down to on this team is the defense. Like, I'm really, really interested in Simone Nemec. I think I'll be playing him a lot in daily fantasy. I think he'll see as much ice time as possible with Feravari and be a guy that is carrying the puck and shooting and like really used in a massive offensive role. Like, if they offer shot props on Simone Nemec, that's a guy I'm incredibly interested in. He's been able to produce at the NHL level when given the right role. Why couldn't he produce here? I know Finland's a tough matchup to start and probably get really reduced odds. So I'm going to be keeping my eye out for stuff like that. I don't see anything today, but I definitely think it's going to be more of a game by game situation, keeping an eye on those types of things. The only other bet I have in my mix that I'm probably going to try to parlay with things is Slovakia under 1.5 wins in their group play, because they will very likely beat Italy and lose to Finland and Sweden. It's minus 188, which is kind of like parlaying 3 games together. But when you're I was really, I don't know if I'm going to bet it or not. I'm really trying to think through how good of a bet that is. Like, they have to lose. They cannot win 2 games or more.
Where is this bet?
FanDuel.
And it's
Slovakia group stage wins under 1.5 minus 188. And they play
they're plus 285 against Finland.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah,
like
on its face, that seems good, but
I think that, yeah, exactly. Like, I actually think that's like not the dumbest idea I've ever had to bet. And that's what we're here to hear about.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know what I can parlay it with, but that's when I circled here. I was like, that's interesting, because they're probably going to be minus, I don't know, 600 against 700 against Italy. I don't know exactly where it'll land, but it's just like, why? Italy to win a game is plus 630. It's the only chance they really have. So, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't take long to realize, like,
Yeah. So Martin Marincin has not played in the NHL since before COVID. So that's tough. That's a tough look for young blood, us over here, fucking old as dirt. Remember some guys' territory already. And he's a 92 birthday. So yeah, we're 1 foot in the grave now, DJ.
I wish it was 2.
So this Libor Hudacek guy, he played in the KHL somewhat recently, 2022, I think it was when I looked it up. He was playing on the top power play. You look around and maybe you would expect a Regenda or Pospisil to get that look, but it's going to at least start with this guy. He's 2,600. Not much stands out about him, but again, 2,600 on a top power play in the top 6, it doesn't seem like the worst idea in the world. So if you're just trying to click names and save some money, that seems like a good option. I'm very curious what the field's doing Like, is it just us playing this contest, or is there some site that's touting shit? I don't know. So, if there's some way to get a gauge of ownership, then fading a guy who sucks and is 35 years old and hasn't played in a good league in 6 years at the very least, certainly could be in the picture. And yeah, he plays in the Czechia league right now, which I do not pull in. That's the league that Jaromir Jagr just suits it up randomly at age 78 and plays, right? So, we're not necessarily dealing with the highest tier.
My mouse stopped working, and I don't like that.
Oh, okay.
I would like it.
I thought you were going to defend the merits of the Czechia hockey league.
FanDuel has some goal scorers, and I was looking through because Brzyzka, who has an Arizona Coyotes logo next to his name on FanDuel right now, is 6-1 to score. I'm not to the moon and back on it, but I was just like, who else do they have that's like weird and not a lot? Who was the other power play guy? Libor.
Who to check?
He's just 550. What do they know? They know something.
Yeah, they sure do.
Something. Regenda?
Wait.
Yeah, Regenda.
Ruzicka did play in Arizona. And that's the last time we saw him. He played 3 games.
I thought he played for why did I think he played for the Flames? Who am I thinking of?
He did for 4 years.
Oh, was he the one that got in big trouble? Didn't he get in like a drunk driving accident or something? Am I losing my mind?
I don't know. Yeah,
after social media video appears to show him flashing cocaine. Okay. He was let go. That is exactly what it was. So he was on the Flames. It didn't work out. He went over. Yeah. I really do find it kind of just strange that they're not using Regenda on this top power play. That seems unbelievable. This guy was getting like legitimate looks on a real team.
He's 4,800, so like the value on this 2-game slate is kind of out the window. Tomas Tatar is, intriguing. I should mention Ruzicka very good in the KHL last year. I did not pull this year's KHL stats down. It just takes so much work, and I got through the leagues that I could, but I expect that he's, a fairly good option given he's also centering Slavkovsky and Tatar ahead of Dvorsky, who we know is like, at least a good prospect, if not great right now. So Tatar is somewhat interesting as well, given, at least we know he's an NHL player of a few years ago at the very least. I'm not sure why his stats from this year aren't populating. He might be too old, so he doesn't have many comps. I don't know why that would be, though. So I'll look into that before my newsletter, which I plan to post tomorrow. In case I'll mention it at the end too. But anyway, let's keep it going to the other teams.
I might as well. Yeah, I'm just looking if Adam Brzyzka is offered for 1 tournament goal. That's what my life has come to.
Let's organize things and just sort of start with the dregs of society and work our way up.
The answer is seemingly no.
I hope I don't
offend. Radko Gudas is offered.
Radko Gudas. All right. Let's start off with the team. Which one's worse? France is probably worse. We didn't get France lines. I don't know what to do with this team. So their first game is Thursday, so they'll be on the Thursday DFS slate presumably. Maybe not, because that game starts at 6:10. Canada's at 10:40, and US, Latvia, and Denmark, Germany both play at 3 on Thursday, so we could see like a 3-game DFS slate and just leave off the 6:10 start. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, France is projected to get catapulted by Switzerland, which is not a great sign for them. They have Alex Texier, and that is it as far as current NHLers. Relevant players, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare, you might remember. Yeah. He is 40 years old, still kicking it. He played in the Swiss League. Kevin Bozan, Justin Adamo, Dylan Faber, and Stéphane DaCosta. I think DaCosta was a guy for a while. I remember him being a little dude who could score, and he performed well in the KHL. I don't know if that's true or not, that he's little and could score, but at least I remember him in that way. So Texier and DaCosta feel like the only two relevant players if these guys do get into DFS slates. Bellemare was always a PKer and fourth liner, and he's 40 fucking years old. So, like, okay, we get it. No one else stands out from a defensive standpoint. Nobody even cracks like an SHL, Liga, NCAA, nothing. Like, I have nothing on any of the rest of these dudes. So good luck.
Yeah, they're gonna get absolutely smacked. It's a tough break. But better than Italy is the one thing you can hang your hat on. Texier is a player, albeit a one that relies on Suzuki and Caulfield quite a bit. DaCosta, like you said, is a player. Bellemare was never a point producer or really like, anything above being a fourth liner in the NHL. But hey, you know what? Better than most of the players on this team. So I can't say there's a lot here to cover. They have Switzerland, Czechia, and Canada. So get ready for Sunday at 10:40 a.m. Eastern, as they will take on the Canadians in what will be a absolute fucking bloodbath. I don't project them to win any of these games. They're plus 310 to win a singular game. Minus 420 to just lose out. I think that's much more likely. And sports books are probably right. Not really seeing any bets on any of these players that you could bet. Like, I just, there's nothing here. In DFS, like you mentioned, there's going to be a cheap option or something. Like DaCosta is a guy that I'll probably take a look at. Like, could he be a guy that shoots a bunch? Yeah, kind of seems like that could be the case. And he plays in a real league, so sure. That's all that really there is to say about this team.
Okay. Let's move over to Latvia, where we have lots more to say, I'm sure. Their top
Balsers.
6. Yes.
Right? Don't they have Balsers? Okay, then we're back.
We do not know their lines. Wait, no, we did get their lines.
Yes.
Yeah. We got Latvia lines. We don't know power plays.
No.
Sandis Vilmanis, Zemgus Girgensons.
Yep.
Edwards Trailmarks. Trailmax.
Yes, Trail Mox.
Yes. So that their top line, I guess. We know Girgensons and Vilmanis from the NHL. Trailmax is in the AHL currently, and he's actually not bad there, so good for him. I don't know what team he's on or whatever, but it's 23% above average shot rate for the league and almost 50% above league average in primary point rate. So that's something. Their second line, Richard Bukarts and Teddy Bluger and Rudy Balsers. That's right, Rudy Balsers. Old friend of the podcast, Rudy Balsers. Was he part of the Erik Karlsson trade with Josh Norris?
Right. We're gonna say it, whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah, we're just gonna revise history. He is currently kicking it in the National in the Swiss league there, and slightly above average. So that's their top 6. Their third line has Dan Zlokmelis, who I believe is a Providence Bruin, who's actually pretty decent. So, younger guy, kind of interesting. And that's about it. I don't know any of these other guys down the lineup, and they at least have some other league experience. Like, this team's not going to be a total walking tire fire. And they have real NHL goaltending as well. So, any Latvia takes from you?
Of course I have Latvian takes because I am a man of the people, unlike you. And I also looked into this. A couple of things you could do here. Now, if you're just big into Latvia, now let's actually let's take a moment to critically think. Okay. Now, I know many of you that could be painful, including myself. But who does Latvia get to play in this tournament? Well, they start with USA. So what's going to happen on the first shift? Well, somebody's going to pay retribution to Mr. Vilmanis, who tried to attempt murder on Charlie McAvoy. So you might as well just take him out of the equation because he's going to be dead before they even get a chance to play. Now, going forward, Latvia, after the USA game, which will probably not go as planned, I do not believe they will have much success, will be taking on Germany and Denmark. 2 games that they should at least have a chance to score some goals in. And who can you bet on this team to score a singular goal but Rudy Balcers? Minus 145 to score a single goal. Now, that might not be enough for you. You might be saying, I don't know, minus 145 for Rudy Balcers. I know he's a goal scorer, but tell me more about Edouard's trail mix. 18 goals in the AHL, 6 assists. That sounds like a goal scorer to me. That sounds like a guy that's going to shoot the puck hard at the net and put it by a goalie here or there. You can bet him for 2 goals at plus 310. 2 goals plus 310. You want to know how many people are betting that? You want to know how many people are betting that should bet it? There's 5 watching this right now live to my knowledge. That makes 7, including me and Matt. Any thoughts on going and saying, screw it, dog? This team is going to get out against non-NHL players, and at the very least, these guys are close to the NHL.
I'm sorry, who is scoring 2 goals? Wait, what? What's going on?
He's offered for 2 goals. No, Vilmanis is. I think Vilmanis is actually offered as well.
I don't know. I'm trying to follow where you are.
You can bet Edouard's Traumax plus 310 for 2, Rudy Balcers plus 320 for 2. You could bet
on where?
On FanDuel. Time to go deposit.
Fuck off. I'm not depositing the bet on Team Latvia goal scoring props, DJ.
Time to go deposit. It sucks to suck, buddy, but you're depositing. I just I'm keeping one of these buttons.
What are we doing?
Losing.
What are we doing?
Losing. Right. Yeah, Vilmanis, I don't see Gergensons, but you could bet Balcers. You could bet who the heck is Henry Raviniskis?
Henry Ravinskis. Well, he's in the AHL currently, and the dude is allergic to collecting points, apparently. He has played 27 games in the AHL, and his primary points per game is
Borkarts as well is offered plus 320 for 2 goals.
24% of the league average in the AHL. It is 76% worse than league average. Like, this dude is a grinded out fourth liner in the AHL. So I don't know about him.
I'm just trying to give our good people the good bets. And
all right, I can't even find where this fucking tournament goals shit lives on FanDuel. So
player tournament, I guess I'm just cooked.
I can't get there. I'm looking at men's hockey and it doesn't let me do anything else besides goal scorer.
Okay, you're obviously a coward. I'm gonna leave it to you, Matt. Balcers for 2 or Traumax for 2? Or do we just wait for them to have a power play? What?
What is this choice?
It's a good choice.
It's like you've lost your goddamn mind.
No.
Just bet them to score individually in their games.
Deal.
Okay. Like, holy hell.
All right, we're having fun. We're an hour in. We're having fun. We should probably move on.
Yeah, we probably should. All right. I don't have anything to say about Latvia. They seem fine, and they could be fun, but I don't know. Denmark. We did not get Denmark lines, which is very frustrating because they have a few relevant players. Otherwise, not much of interest. So I'm expecting their top 6 look something like Nick Ehlers, Lars Eller, Oliver Bjorkstrand, Oscar Fisker Molgaard, Jonas Ronbjorg, and Patrick Russell. Russell was, I think, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't NHLer. I remember thinking something with him in the Oilers, but he crushed it in the SHL last year. Ron Bjorg, pretty good in the AHL, came up to the Vegas Golden Knights and is a fourth liner. Fisco Molgaard is a pretty good prospect from the Seattle Kraken. And then obviously we know
played a couple games.
Oh, cool. And then we have Bjorkstrand, Eller, and Ehlers, obviously carrying the water, Ehlers especially. Down the lineup, I don't really see anything of interest. Defensively, they have a Nicholas Jensen that is not our Nick Jensen, I think. It's Nicholas B. Jensen, and I don't know why they would say that if he was actually the... Let me just try to figure out if Nick Jensen on the Sens is this guy or not. But I I don't think that would be the case.
Olgard is only 20. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was just trying to look if there's
Okay. Yeah.
any.
Nick Jensen is American, so there we go. None of these defensemen stand out. I'm guessing Anders Koch is their power play quarterback. He plays in the Liga and was very good there. I'm guessing he ran a power play, given he's 2x the league average point rate for a defenseman there. However, Marcus Lauridsen also did pretty well in the SHL 2 years ago. So a little, but those two guys seem like the dudes. I don't know why we need to place that bet now, but keep an eye out for those two on the blue line. Otherwise, it's the top 6 for me. There's no one down the lineup that stands out as being potential dudes. I think Blickfeld was also a guy, but again, these top 6 seem pretty straightforward to me. And Denmark is, I think, in that next tier after, ahead of France, Latvia, and Italy for sure in my book.
Yeah, I mean, not a lot to bet here. I won't go quite down the same rabbit hole I just did because I'll save everybody the time. It was fun. It was fun for Latvia, but there are players you could bet here. I mean, I will probably Bjorkstrand to score 2 goals, but you're right. Maybe I just bet him to score when they play a bad team. Maybe these bets like this are just kind of stupid. So,
but interesting. Denmark to win the gold is worse than Latvia. It's like in the Italy, France, Denmark range. So do they play each other? What is their matchups?
Yes, Latvia, Denmark, Sunday.
Oh, excuse me.
So you can, I mean, so yeah, looking at where is it? Way back up. It is like basically if you're saying that Denmark is better than Latvia, right?
That's what I think.
Denmark group stage wins minus 225 over a half. Under, and Latvia minus 310 over a half. Germany?
That doesn't seem possible.
Yeah, right. What? Under on Latvia seems under. So Latvia to lose all 3 games is plus 240. So Latvia losing to Denmark, Germany, and USA.
Does that include overtime losses by chance, or is it like points, or is it just straight up wins losses?
Including overtime wins. So I have to assume it includes overtime losses.
Okay.
Settling the number of group stage wins, including overtime wins. So it has to be a win in overtime.
Oh my god, I found it. I found this market. Holy shit. It's a miracle.
It's all the way on the bottom.
Yep, I found it. All right.
The point being that, well, yeah, how does this make sense? This doesn't the math isn't mathing to you too, right? What is Germany?
I would need to sit with it. Germany's over 1.5 minus 105. So they're basically saying Germany splits with these two teams. Wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying they basically split more off. They're about 50-50 if you assume they lose to the US.
I just feel like Denmark's better than Latvia.
Yeah, I mean, looking at it, I think I agree. So I guess we'll just, I don't know. We could bet it now, but probably just wait for the game line to come out and just bet it then, because I'm not sure what we're going to learn that's going to move markets considerably between now and then, considering, Latvia is just going to get shit canned by the US.
Yeah.
All right, let's move to Switzerland. We have lines from them. No power plays that I found, but Kevin Fiala, Nico Hischier, Kelvin Thurkoff. Interesting first line there. Sven Andrighetto, old friend of the show there. Dennis Mulligan, also a dude in the NHL. Nino Niederreiter, Philip Kurashev, Pius Suter, Timo Meyer. Yes, that's right. Even on this team, Switzerland, Timo can't get a top 6 job. Just the way it works for him, I guess. He'll probably be on the second power play too, if I had to guess. Christoph Berchi, Ken Yeager, and Damian Riot. Defensively, Roman Yossi, Andrea Glauser, Dean Kukin, Jonas Siegenthaler, JJ Moser, Michael Fora, and some extras. I think Tim Burney was a dude for a little bit, but otherwise nothing of too much relevance. In net, Akira Schmid, Reto Berra, and someone named Leonard Giannoni. So Akira Schmid likely carrying the water for them in net. Not bad. An odd configuration up front. Any Switzerland takes?
It's a good team. I mean, yeah, they definitely are trying to spread the wealth offensively. I was like, of all of the things, if you would have said you could bet $1 million on anything, I would have said Nico Heischer is just going to be with Timo Meyer, because every single team that goes to the Olympics puts any NHL player with the NHL player they play with. Um, that not happening was a surprise. Maybe they changed their mind on it. Kurashev, Suter, Timo. I mean, that's an all NHL line. I kind of feel like that's probably going to be the nominal line too, but we'll see. Fiala and Heischer together feels like a lot of fun. Like, those are two fantastic players. I don't think there's a lot you can really sink your teeth into as far as betting is concerned. There's some, markets, like I said, for the 1 or 2 goal scorer bets, but I think it's probably, like you're saying, just keeping an eye on the matchups and the shots and whatnot. There's a couple players that, like Sven Andrighetto, who was a shot taker for sure, to keep an eye on, that just probably won't get the same recognition as as the others in this game, but will have a lot of opportunity. DFS wise, I mean, this team is, I think, a lot better than people like maybe consider. Like, Roman Yossi's come on really, really strong as of late. Siegenthaler is a pretty good defenseman overall. JJ Moser's been, I'd say, one of the more impactful defensemen on the season, just from a full scope of the NHL. They have at least an NHL goalie. I know he's like one of the top projected saves guys. They're going to have a lot of opportunity for shots against, but they take on France to start things, as we mentioned. That's a lot of opportunity to score quickly, early. They have basically a split to win one other game. It's going to be tough to beat Canada. Not looking forward to that one if I'm them. And then Czechia is a pretty solid team. So I kind of don't hate the under there, but I like them a lot against France, especially on the first round of the DFS on Thursday. And I don't mind at all getting a little bit different here, especially given, I'm guessing, prices will be pretty reduced on guys like Andrighetto. So
Yep.
Good DFS notes, but not a lot of betting advice here for you.
Yeah, I would guess Roman Josi is going to play the most minutes in this tournament. He started off the year pretty slow for Nashville and really ramped up the last month or so. So my guess is that they're going to take that and run with it. He's been awesome. I mean, Nashville's resurgence has been very much tied to him, in my opinion, becoming the player that we know he is. So yeah, he's on the older side, but I do think he sort of planned out his season basically to be ready for this. So Roman Josi would be the guy for me. ML Kid here. Josi being 60-1 for top point scorer and assist leader is disrespectful. He's barely going to leave the ice. I pretty much second those thoughts. So yeah, and then defensively, Mosier been very good this year in Tampa. So they got some good players. You look down the lineup and we're seeing third and fourth lines populated with players who are relevant at the very least. So that's nice.
The problem you run into is they have to, like, the tournament leader continues to the gold medal.
True.
Right?
Yep.
I mean, that's the hard part about clicking the button on them, is like, you really need Swiss to pull off an upset and play an extra game or two. Like, if they go 3 games and then 1 and out, you're completely dead in the water. They have to win at least one, so they have to get a soft matchup and then maybe a second to like really give you a chance at Roman Josi, unless if he has 2 5-point nights, which would have to happen against France. They have to probably beat Czechia, which he goes crazy in, and then get a soft matchup. Like, a lot of things have to go right for that to hit, which I get why it's so incredibly long, because it's just so unlikely that they're going to be seeing enough games.
All right. Yeah, Switzerland, Fiala and Heischer, that's a very obvious pairing. They both should be top power play. Not going to surprise anyone if they are, mid-tier interesting on some DFS slates or whatnot. Let's get to Germany. We have 4 teams left because we covered Sweden and Finland already. So Germany, we don't have a lineup from them that I could tell, which again, very annoying. Like, they're a super relevant team and just no one's reporting on them. So cool. They have Peterka, Draisaitl, Tim Stützle, Mo Seider. That's about all you need to know. Tobias Rieder is here. He's hanging out. Longtime NHLer, I guess. Not since 2022, which another what when that happened. Nico Sturm, Stutzla, Cahoon, my best guess at a second line. Josh Szymanski, who I think just made his debut for Edmonton like a week or two ago, so that's fun. Stakowiak, I'm pretty sure, is an possible NHL dude as well. And Mark Michaelis, I think I've heard of him, though he doesn't show up anywhere else. So I don't know about that. He was really good in college, I guess. So maybe I got overly excited for him when he was a super overager and played a preseason game or whatever. Lucas Reichel, also here. The failed 3-time reclamation project, it feels like. Maybe Germany can fix him. Otherwise, defensively, Gowanke is a name that I recognize. Mo Seider, of course, is going to play, all the minutes. And then 4 guys that I am completely unaware of. How far can Leon Draisaitl take this Germany squad?
I mean, I am a fan of this team. Like, I think comparatively to the field, I'm not going 9-1 for them to win a medal, but like, this is a team I think that could pull off a couple upsets because they kind of have a little bit of everything. They have a goaltender that's been incredibly hot this season who could continue that run into this tournament and steal a game or two if needed. They have the top end goal scoring that actually, let's see what the lineup is, but I think you're going to see Draisaitl, Peterka. I think that makes a lot of sense. And Stützle will be with at least an NHL quality-ish player in Cahoon and Strome, who have been in the NHL. Mo Seider is going to see 30-plus minutes. Like, there's a lot of top-level players here down the lineup, including, like you said, Lucas Reichel, who, while he hasn't made it in the NHL, is a young player that at least has a level of offensive upside. I just feel like this is like a much better team than the books are giving them credit for. Like, they're basically a coin flip to win 2 games, and they play 2 teams, like I mentioned, in Denmark and Latvia, who suck. So I really like them to win both those games. It might just be worth betting both of those games rather than betting them to win 2. It might be worth, betting on them in daily fantasy and just kind of betting through the exact guys that we know are going to be the most impactful players in Peterka, Draisaitl, Stützle, Mo Seider. Like, it's going to all rely on them to, get these games to the finish line, but I like them a lot. It just feels like they have a really soft, other than USA, of course, let's not get it twisted. USA is going to be very, very difficult for them to overcome, but I really like the overall structure of this team, I think, more than most people. And I definitely will be betting on them on a game-by-game basis, probably more than most, and playing them more in daily fantasy. I don't think you have to go too insane, but like, stage of elimination stuff, like you mentioned, like that might be something where you get a little bit more bullish on this team. They are like, what, plus 550 for the semis, meaning that they just win the first round, right? I don't know. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they would have to beat, I think the way it would work is they would have to beat, like, if they finish second in their group, they're going to need to play like a Finland or Sweden type.
Yeah.
I assume, like, I don't know. That's interesting.
Probably.
I would need to see if there's a place to like sim that out or something to figure out like who their likely quarterfinal matchup is, because it does feel like they need to play someone good if they don't win the group and beat USA, basically, which would concern me there. We'll just mention Philip Grubauer. There's some chat about him. Saves leader, 850. I don't know the schedules. If there's any teams that don't play a back-to-back, take a look for that. I don't know if that's even possible or not given the schedule, but if there's a case where it's like a Wednesday, Friday, Sunday or something, maybe those goalies would be a better bet. I'm guessing the books aren't leaving stuff like that hanging, but maybe there is something to it. I don't have anything else to add here. It's Draisaitl and Seider and Stützle or nothing, and that's about it. So let's get to Czechia, maybe the last interesting team before
Germany minus 170 to go further than Slovakia.
Okay. Interesting. Because yeah, basically Germany to advance. What is Germany to advance?
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, that
I need to
feels,
figure that out. Where is that a market? Just to advance?
I don't know.
Winning group? No. Name? No. I don't see it. Slovakia yeah, like I said, I have them. I mean, again, like I have them
Yeah,
as
to
like an
reach
under.
quarterfinal, they're minus 250.
Okay. And
So, yeah,
Slovakia is, yeah, I mean, like Slovakia,
290. Yeah.
yeah. Wait, what is Slovakia to advance?
Minus 290.
Slovakia is?
Yeah.
That means that they're better odds than Germany, you just said?
Can three teams advance from a group? But yeah, it's right. There's only
What
three
am I missing?
groups, and there's eight. The hell's going on here?
Yeah, something feels wrong
There's
about what you just said. I don't know what it is. Like,
okay.
let's
The
look at that.
top four teams receive buys into the quarterfinals. Fifth through 12th will play in the qualification playoff round. Okay, well, we're just fucking total dumbasses.
Yeah, we are. So it doesn't matter. We're all gonna die
Oh my
anyways.
god, has it always been like this? That doesn't seem like it rings a bell whatsoever. So there's just like also the
So
top four teams. What?
who's the? Yeah, there's
It's
three
just three
groups.
groups. So this is so stupid. Who designed this format? Like let me
Yeah,
talk
this
to
is
them
weird.
next time. Let
On
me talk
second
to them.
thought, who will advance further in the tournament minus 170 Germany makes no fucking sense because you're basically completely leaving it to chance of who they play. Like, never mind. Just don't
Yeah.
do that. Bet
Uh,
Slovakia not to win 2 games in their group stage at minus 188 instead. There we go. Okay. We're
okay.
back on track.
Jesus Christ. Czech. The Czech team: Nachos, Hurdle, Pasternak, Palat, Kampf, Kasha, Andre Kasha back in our lives. Can't believe it's been so long that he doesn't even get. Oh wait, no wait. Is this the dumb name thing where his name shows up as a different
Probably.
where it's like the no he just isn't there. Yeah, so it's been a while since you've seen Andre Kasha. I know he has the accent above the maybe he has an accent somewhere else. His name, whatever. I'll figure that out after. He's back in our lives. Cervenka, Sedlak, Tomasek. Tomasek being the Edmonton dude. Sedlak played somewhere for a little bit, and Cervenka's been around. I don't know. He doesn't show up anywhere here, but I feel like he's a dude. And Stransky, Faxa, Kubalik. Okay. Defensively, Philip Pronik, Radim Chimek, Michael Kempney, Radko Gudas, David Spacek, Jan Ruda. Spacek got a cup of coffee with Minnesota. Um, he's getting power play time, somewhat interestingly, with Kasha, Cervenka, Tomashek, and Spacek, and Kubalik. And then the top unit is pretty much you'd expect: Fronik, Palat, Pasta, Hurdle, Nachas. Um, that top line is gonna be pretty nice. They're gonna need to total hard carry. And Marty Nachas to lead something in assists is fairly interesting. Also, Pasta to lead in assists. Like it feels like one of those two guys is just going to default to the playmaker. And yes, Pasta, is an awesome goal scorer, but he's also just an incredible playmaker. So, fairly interested in Czechia here. Any bets that we can conjure up off of that?
I mean, so let's for starters, right? First game, 10:40 a.m. Thursday against Canada. You hate to see that. You're not if you're. I mean, I think it'll be a good game. That's a tough one. Then France, okay, for free. It's a free one. And then Switzerland. Like Switzerland's a fine team. I think Czechia is much better. So you're getting that out of the way, and then you're getting into nonsense time, where they will have to play whomever, as they will probably not win that because Canada will very likely win that whole little song and dance. I kind of like the way you're thinking here, right? I mean, so let me think about this format again. They will then go into a 5 through how many teams?
12. So the fifth best team does not get a bye to the quarterfinals, but they play Italy or France or whatever.
So
Like
they
the
get an
12th
extra
ranked team.
game comparative.
True. Yes,
Like
they do.
yeah.
They
So hold on.
do.
I'm
The
just like
fifth place team
rethinking.
gets an extra game.
I'm rethinking everything because
Okay.
that sounds like what they'll get, right? They'll get an extra game. If they win that game, they will then go into the real seeding. If they win, like if they finish third, which is very in the range of outcomes for them. I mean, they'll have to win, but like look at this team and tell me this team couldn't beat Finland. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like the idea of really looking at like any of these full tournament situations and saying, well, what if Czechia plays the most games? Because it's Czechia or Finland that you'd want to go with because Finland has the Sweden situation to deal with. So if you go with either of them being the 5, although one of them could get the 4, right? I mean, the 4 is not going to win their, so USA,
Correct.
Canada, and then Sweden or Finland. Let's call it Sweden for
Yeah.
fun. So that's probably one of these two teams. One of them gets to play Italy, and one of them gets to play France. One of them gets to play Switzerland. The other one has to play, so, I mean, it's going to be close. It'll be really close between Finland and Sweden. I wonder if that also factors into how much these teams want to pile drive France and Italy into the core of the earth because it'll get them a bye.
Yeah.
One of them will get a bye
Okay.
and one of them won't, right? But like, I don't know. This is this game theory that I'm kind of, I don't know if you really want to call it game theory, but like, kind of, right? Like, we're just trying to think through
Mm-hmm.
the tournament stuff. Like, there's a very clear situation where, these players get a small boost because they're on the two teams, which I think are very likely Finland and Czechia, that are going to be kind of in that optimal spot. But then they have to get to the bronze medal game. This is interesting.
Yeah, for pretty much any. So the goalies are more interesting to me in that like I don't think Czechia is gonna have a starter for all because they play Thursday, Friday, Sunday. So Dostal gets Thursday, someone else gets Friday, someone gets Sunday, whether it's Dostal or Vladar or Melka. Like that to me is a very murky situation that I wouldn't want to target. Maybe for Germany because Grubauer is so locked in. Maybe that's your consideration.
Yeah,
that
someone said
gets
earlier.
an extra game.
They'll need to get the extra game and use it, but at least plus 950. But like, you're kind of just betting on Germany to play the most games, which is a possibility. I mean, Saros, but how locked in is he to the number one? Probably decently, but
he's got it. I mean, he got yanked. No, UPL's not there, right?
No UPL. So it's Corpusalo and what's his name?
Because Lankinen, because he got pulled for in the Four Nations. I remember that, but UPL I think was a better option than either Lankinen or Corpusalo. Sweden definitely not touching Markstrom, Gustafsson, Wallstead. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting thought.
Grubauer feels the most locked in. I mean, that actually might be the right answer. So like you just pick Grubauer.
You could say Freddie, but what are the odds he gets hurt in the first two games? I don't know.
This is interesting. Honestly, I didn't think this would be as interesting because we just learned something on the fly. I feel like I really knew all the rules here, but I had not thought about this very specific situation. I don't think is saves is not offered on
no, just saves leader. Oh, sorry, no, it's just FanDuel stuff that I can find. So let's get. I mean, my God, we're not even gonna get to really talk about Canada US. If you want to hear people talk about Canada US, just turn on any fucking hockey podcast. You know that. Are you ready for Canada? Can we just get this over with?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Celebrini, McDavid, Wilson, Suzuki, McKinnon, Marchand, Stone, Crosby, Marner, Hagel, Horvat, Reinhart, Jarvis, Bennett as extras. Defensively, Taze, Makar, Morrissey, Pareko, Harley, Doughty, Sanheim, Shea Theodore, power plays. Power play 1, McDavid, McKinnon, McCarr, Crosby, Reinhart. Power play 2, Celebrini, Stone, Marner, Horvat, Theodore. That means Travis Sanheim will be scratched. Don't know about Jarvis versus Bennett, who's going to be scratched. I don't really know what to say about this lineup other than I don't think this lineup lasts the full first game, let alone the tournament. So this just doesn't make sense to me.
No, it's whatever. I mean, it really is the embarrassment of riches, and I think much like sort of it's sort of a weird comparison, but if you actually watch or look at the time on ice usage for the Team Canada and Team USA women's teams, and you see like, oh, this like third liner is getting just as many minutes as the first. Like, I think some of that'll kind of happen where it'll be quite a bit of McDavid out there with Reinhardt and McDavid out there with, Marner and Crosby. Like these guys will naturally, I think, filter to the top. And some of these extra guys that are here, and obviously fantastic top end players in the world, but like they'll filter out and kind of around more in this situation. Like I just don't think it's as fluid as roll 4 lines. Of course,
Yeah,
if they lead and they're playing garbage teams, but like when it matters, it just won't be that way.
Yeah, and when I think of NHL coaches that do this to great success, I think of John Cooper. So that's a good start for them. That they have a guy who knows how to get his stars their minutes and how to hide fourth lines and whatnot. Like obviously you don't need to hide this fourth line, but I think the combinations we see are practically irrelevant for stacking purposes. For example, if I'm playing Nate McKinnon, I'm not touching either of Suzuki or Marchand with him. I'm just you can't pay me enough to do that. I don't think, at least. I'd much rather play a Marner. I'd much rather play a McDavid. Like, just I don't really understand the appeal of that as a line combination. But we'll see. Goaltending is fairly interesting, but I mean, it's only interesting in the sense that if Binnington blows up, that would be a very, very fun time to be alive.
Yeah, there's one bet I'm absolutely going to have, and I'm not going to tell you what the odds are, but I will tell you the player, and then I'll have you guess the odds and end the book. And then there's one bet that I'm considering. So first and foremost, Nathan McKinnon to be the top goal scorer plus 370 on DraftKings and plus 280 on FanDuel. So if you're going the McKinnon route, there's one clear and obvious book. Best I could find was DraftKings by a decent clip. McDavid, pretty comparable across the books. There's one player that is dramatically different. Sam Reinhart is plus 650, tied for the third most likely top goal scorer on DraftKings. Do you want to know the best odds I found?
15-1.
20-1.
Where at?
Score. Now, as you're showing here, he is on the fourth line. But is that going to last? Is he not going to just take over for Tom Wilson?
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like, what are we doing here?
Tom Wilson is 12-1 and Reinhart is 20-1 on the score. I mean, what are we talking about? Like I hate to make you log into another sports book and lose money when Nathan McKinnon.
I love that more than anything on this fucking planet, DJ. Do not apologize.
How much money am I putting on this?
$1 trillion.
Like, this feels like the best bet of the entire whole thing, like in a vacuum. But like, even saying that, it's just like much like it, like plus 800 is probably the right middle ground, right? Like, it's still like an 8-1 bet. Like, I don't think you need to go to the moon and back, but like that stood out. I was like, where the fuck is Reinhart? I'm like, oh, 20-1. Put the phone down. You know what I mean? He's going to be the guy in the top power play that they're trying to feed the puck to.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you. He's 11-1 on FanDuel, so still a massive edge there as well. That just is the case. I don't hate the idea of saying that, you're a gutless coward and you have to click on another player that is more likely. And like I said, McKinnon is pretty substantially better over on the DraftKings of it all. I didn't look at points for Canada much. I just don't have any interest in not clicking on McDavid. Like 270, whatever. I don't know. Shop it around, I guess. Like, I'd probably just put some money on that too, because he is just on another dimension and going to get quite a lot of opportunity to, assert himself as, the guy.
Okay. Yeah, I really don't. I think Thomas Harley's back the way he was playing in Dallas lately. Can he overcome Drew Doughty defensively? And Shea Theodore is going to mix in probably there. I don't know. That's concerning to me from a DFS standpoint. It's just there's nothing here that's super exciting.
No.
All right. Did you screw up these numbers? 4+ points plus 155, 5+ minus 130. I'm guessing that's reversed, but if not, then obviously the plus 155 is a hell of a miss.
I mean, that's 1 point. Yeah, but yeah, I guess I didn't even look at those bets, honestly. Tournament points. Yeah, we don't need to go.
Let's just do the USA again. If you want our thoughts on the specifics of all, just go fucking tune into any fucking podcast out there. We're here to talk about Latvia. God damn it. US going. Gensel, Matthews, Boldy, Kachuk, Eichel, Kachuk, Connor, Larkin, Tage, Hughes, Nelson, Miller. I think that was confirmed, though I thought Trocheck might have been on that fourth line and Hughes was a random. I don't know, a little bit intriguing on the status of Jack Hughes at the moment. Defensively, Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy. Quinn Hughes did not play for the U.S. in the Four Nations. Obviously, a massive fucking difference. Slavin, Faber, Werenski, Hannafin, Sanderson, Lacombe. I believe Sanderson will be playing out of this group, but so help me God if he's not. I mean, that would be just like we're at the point where Mike Sullivan's bordering on donkey watch, right? Like, I mean, this dude can't coach his way out of a fucking phone booth in New York, and now he gets here and these line combinations and shit. It's just like, I don't know, man. I don't like this. Feels to me like the fucking Torts experience all over again with the U.S. team. But what are your thoughts?
My thoughts. Hold on, I'm just wondering if you can parlay this shit. No, you can't.
Okay, he is saying DK screwed it up, by the way. So if you're saying 4+ stone points is plus 155, that's very go hit that.
4+. Okay, I do want to look at that as well. Here's my thoughts. Let's get over USA quickly. I actually like the lineup. I actually think this is like probably the best iteration of the lineup as it could be. Other than not the fourth line being not really whatever. We don't need to get into the fourth lineup at all. I mean, I would just play Keller over like JT Miller because he sucks, but I also wouldn't have brought either of them over other players that could have been brought. So whatever. I will be clicking on Jack Eichel 7-1 to be the top goal scorer on the score. It's 4-1 on DraftKings, 7-1 over on the score. You can't parlay those together. I think he is just kind of far and away doing the most right now, and I get the Austin Matthews of it all, but I don't know. I'm not afraid of Austin Matthews when it comes to Jack Eichel, who I think is just on the right run with the right players around him to help him produce the most goals. Like Boldy and Gensler are going to steal quite a bit of shot share from Austin Matthews, who is just not really the same Matthews we're used to. So I like Eichel 7-1 to lead the goal scorer stuff there. So that is my big take. And yeah, obviously I'll be rooting for the USA the whole way. And I like a lot of this stuff. And I don't, again, like it's sacking and this and that and the other thing, like pretty easy to do. The third line is a ton of fun. The fourth line is going to see a lot of defensive minutes. I think the second line does too, but Jack Eichel just feels like a guy that can really benefit from playing with the Kachuk brothers.
Yeah, I agree there. Matt Boldy for both goals, 9-1 DK feels fun. Like Tage is better odds for some reason. Like, yeah, I get it. Right? The dude can score at 5-on-5, but at some point the power play matters. And
yeah,
were these units confirmed? I think they were, but in any case, actually, were these units confirmed? That is a question that I'm now not positive on. I feel like they had to have been.
I'm trying to bet Mark Stone stuff as we were
okay, good, great.
That's what I'm focused on. I almost clicked on biathlon by accident.
God damn it. No, I'm not going to find a power play, and I'm just going to be out here feeding false info.
Player futures, tournament points. To record 4 points. Mark Stone is plus 155.
Yeah, no,
Same
it's fucked up. Yeah.
That is. And then Mark's. Yeah, wow. I have my 20% boost. Do I put it here and then bet more? I do.
Awesome.
I will put, 75 more.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't see a single thing about the U.S. power play, so I might have just had to guess.
I definitely tweeted about this.
Whatever.
USA.
Okay. It feels pretty straightforward that Quinn Hughes and Zach Kerensky will be manning the power plays. So defensively, at least we know that much. Slavin plus Faber is an interesting decision, though can't argue with it considering how well they played in the Four Nations. So nice little shutdown pair there. Quinn Hughes, Charlie McAvoy. McAvoy, like scoring stuff, is super interesting. We have not seen him play with anyone close to the caliber of Quinn Hughes. So, McAvoy is a guy who I could see being Brock Faber, but better as far as just like unlocking that offensive potential, specifically the goal scoring department. So maybe some longer odd stuff on him in game 1 or game 2 if if Latvia doesn't do it for anyone, as far as like everyone's just juiced out of the high hell. Matt Boldy to me is the guy that once again people are going to act like he hasn't broken out as a superstar, but I mean we know he has, and we know he's been one. But he's incredible, so I'm very much interested in Matt Boldy here. Is there anything you want to say before we sort of close out? Because I think Jack Hughes is my big red flag. Like, he's not in the top 9. I think there's a chance he's this year's Kyle Connor, where he just falls out of favor. He's not playing well. He wasn't scoring in New Jersey. He just gets scratched for the gold medal game or whatever in favor of, Keller or Trocheck.
Yeah, no, I think I'm good. I mean, that is, he just clearly like got injured with a cut that has not brought him, like, I don't know if there's any, I mean, maybe there's another injury on top of it. Like, he's not right in the world, and that is tough. I'm also realizing that I'm betting on Dahlin, Reinhardt, Eichel.
I did want to mention one thing I saw on FanDuel. Miro Heiskanen heads up points versus Dahlin. Dahlin is an underdog there. It's like minus 102 for Dahlin.
Yeah.
If you had any interest.
I always have interest in betting more money on Rasmus Dahlin, as I've very clearly proven to everybody listening.
I do feel like we should just wrap this shit up. I don't know if this is what the people wanted, but this is what the people got. Literally an hour 15 on the irrelevant teams, and then like 5 minutes each on Canada and the US, because who the hell cares? We know they're the best teams. For my end, I will be working on my newsletter tonight and into tomorrow. I hope to post that sometime tomorrow evening. It's not going to cover the DFS slate for Wednesday, so don't really worry about that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and go moods dudes for the DFS slate. I'm just going to try to talk about players that are maybe more under the radar, and how I see the studs faring and whatnot, more so than like what we did here, where we sort of went player by player and talked about every bit that came into our heads. Hopefully it's a bit more refined. This has been one hell of an endeavor data wise, and just spelling these foreign players' names correctly, it takes a lot of time and effort. So I'd really appreciate you subbing to my newsletter, moods.beehive.com. Make sure you follow and subscribe and like or whatever this podcast is on, whether it's YouTube or on the pod feed. It's going to be a lot of fun. but I also know it'll be a lot of work. So I think to the victor go to spoils will sort of be my mindset as far as digging in and waking up at fucking 5 a.m. to check this shit. So stay tuned to the Discord. That'll be where you can definitely find us. Otherwise, DJ will be tweeting bets whenever. I don't know if it'll be the night before or in the morning or what, but he'll be doing that on Twitter. I will be posting stuff in the Discord as I see fit, and in the newsletter that is forthcoming probably tomorrow.
I'm screenshotting all these bets right now. I'm going to start posting basically all the ones I put together. Thank you for the people that shouted out a few of them. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to roll with Grubauer most saves. I think that is interesting. Like, all you need is Germany to get. I mean, like, they're basically assured the extra game, and if they do well and they win two, like, you know, I mean, they finish sixth, then they win a game, and then they just upset one team like Finland or something. Like, you're kind of sitting there with an interesting. Like, these are sort of the interesting angles I feel like we really wanted to cover. I think we did a pretty good job. If there's any more bets I post, I'll post them before Wednesday. Stay tuned for any DFS breakdowns upcoming. I don't know if we plan on doing any specific podcasts for any, like, right now we have like the 2-game Wednesday slate. I don't think we're doing a show for, but there could be a slate that we feel like is relevant that's boosted a little bit more a Saturday or something. So keep your eye out. And keep an eye out. Yeah, on Twitter, I will be posting absolutely everything. I made a list for all the beat reporters. I'm up to like 24, 25 beat reporters from various countries that all I think are like, you know, that I don't think I know are all at the Olympics, posting lines, posting coverage, posting things. 24 accounts now, 9 people following. So if you want to get any news, notes, there's women's hockey stuff in there too that I've been using. So come on down.
Cool. Yeah, I just followed it. Pretty cool. All right. That'll do it for us. DJ, do you want I'll just close this out. It's fine. I got out of the intro. I can close this out. So thank you all for listening. I hope that the Olympics is as much fun as we've sort of built it up to be over the past decade without it. And I mean, let's see. I am highly curious to see how the top end shakes out at this event. So again, we'll see. From Doug, from DJ, and from myself, have a good Olympics, everybody, and we will see you.
USA. You're saying they're looking like an idiot.
Well, is that any different than normal?
This is the first time I will admit was unbelievably wrong.